It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
This NBA season in full swing, and we are so glad to have you here with us on 2K Sports. I'm Ernie Johnson. Shaq is here. He's excited. Kenny is here. He's excited.
Yes.
We're just happy to have you here. It's basketball out in Brooklyn. Barclays Center is the venue. We'll see the Nets go up against the Chicago Bulls. For Chicago, in comparison to where they were record-wise at this point last season, it seems they've taken a step backwards. They're trying to make up that ground. The Brooklyn Nets appear to be in Plan B mode. You remember when new ownership came in 2010, they spent big, traded aggressively for some big-name free agents, hoping it would put them in the hunt for a title. Hasn't exactly happened, Jet.
No, they took that shot, and it didn't work. It didn't work at all. But it's tough to rebuild that now. You know, a lot of those picks were traded away to the Celtics, and they are going to just be a strong basketball team in the coming years.
Well, you're right, Ken. It didn't work. That's why they had to put a new front office in place, you know, bringing on some talent from San Antonio. We know how they do it in San Antonio. They're taking the patient route, building from the ground up.
And that is it. Just about time for tip-off. We'll see you later.
The Bulls are looking to defeat their Eastern Conference rival going into this one. We've got some terrific NBA action in store for you today. I'm Kevin Harlan alongside Greg Anthony, Steve Smith, and David Aldridge is joining us from the sideline. Back in Brooklyn, the Nets tip off the beginning of a homestand. This is a team showing a better record this year over last. This was their goal, and it's coming to fruition so far.
And this is what the NBA is all about, competition. That's why rivalries do matter.
They do. It's good for the sport, the TV ratings, the fans, but most of all, when you're a player in this kind of game, the adrenaline rush is incredible.
Steve, how's basketball early in the season different from midway later on in the year, say?
I think, one, everybody's healthy for the most part. Two, you're getting a chance to learn each other. Then midway, it starts to all shake out. I think your optimism is right there early. And then for some teams, they know, well, at the earlier the season is not at the end. And those are the teams that get better and better throughout the year.
Let's check out Chicago's starting lineup. Markkanen and Lopez are together down low. Then there's Grant, and it's Holiday in at the 2. Pass to Hollis Jefferson. Here's LeVert, guarded by Holiday. Here's Carroll. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
And DeMar Carroll, a 4-year college player. 5, actually, when you consider he had to sit out a season after transferring from Vanderbilt to the University of Missouri.
And DeMar Carroll nicknamed the Junkyard Dog for his relentless play.
Well, he's a physical player. He can rebound his position, but what he's known for is being able to defend multiple positions, 2s, 3s, and even some 4s.
Shooting 2.
And that one falls for Carroll.
And for so long, the Bulls really were synonymous with the best defensive teams in the league. But as a team, they've started to slip the last few years. It's something that has been lost while this team kind of retools for the future.
Carroll hits them both. And it used to be you could pencil in the Bulls as a top 10 defensive team by most metrics in any given year. But, Greg, the last few seasons, they've just been middle of the pack.
And, you know, over the history of this team, they've always been at their best when they played great defense. You go back to those Jordan years where they were marked by exceptional defense. This last group, led by Derrick Rose, similarly built on a defensive-minded philosophy. Let's just see if they get back to their roots with this new push.
Picked by Mozgov. 3 on the clock. Good on the shot. Russell's got his first basket.
And whether on or off ball, Russell really knows how to work off screens.
Grant the pass to Zipser. Lopez against Mozgov. Up and in from the low block.
And boy, did he ever sell the pump fake. Worked to absolute perfection.
Passes to LeVert. There's the pick. Carroll kicks to Russell. Mozgov a screen on Grant. Grant against Russell. For 3. Here's Mozgov. Laid in with a nice touch off the glass.
A man with height and reach. Mozgov screaming extra chance point.
Grant against Russell. Lopez a screen on Russell. Grant kicks to Zipser. And what was that about? Not a good shot right there. And so the first quarter is in the books. Brooklyn ahead. They're up by 4. Live from Brooklyn, New York, you're watching 2K Sports. All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And from Brooklyn, guys, what jumps out to you stat-wise?
And boy, I tell you, it didn't take them long to find their rhythm. Strong offense through 1.
Yeah, their scoring's been on point. They've got the early lead. Always feels good when that happens.
Here's Crabbe.
And over the course of the Nets franchise history, some interesting decisions. I mean, back in the 90s, they came very close to changing the team name to the Swamp Dragons. I think we're just going to leave that one right there.
So for Chicago right now, Portis is out there with Quincy Pondexter. Then there's Valentine. Then there's Dunn. And it's Felicio in at the 5. A nice shot by Pondexter.
That was big because they dug a big hole in the first quarter, but starting to show signs of life.
So, Greg, how close were the Nets to being the Swamp Dragons anyway?
Well, it needed a unanimous vote of all the teams to change it, but there was one vote against it. The Nets themselves voted against the change, and they had 7 owners who rotated voting duties, and the one on deck got cold feet.
Felicio lays it in without an inch of room around him.
I'll tell you, there's no quit in him when it comes to the offensive glass.
Harris outside. Picked by Mozgov. And it's Brooklyn scoring again.
Effective screen set there for the jump shot. That was the key to the play.
And the call is going to be, yes, it is, an illegal screen.
And that's a tough one, but on those illegal screen calls, the defender's never going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Some guys, they just know how to get away with it, and some don't.
So Chicago ends up going with the new group. Here's Kilpatrick. Booker the pass to Whitehead. Shoots over Grant. And again, no good by Brooklyn. Shot and game clock separated by 5. Zipser kicks to Grant. Lopez a screen. To the inside. Shoots over Mozgov. That is good. And the Nets' lead is cut down to just 1 on the bucket from Lopez. Here's the screen. The pass to Kilpatrick. Offensive rebound. Somehow ignores the tight D and gets the layup. Mozgov's got his second basket.
And being aggressive, using that length, Mozgov owning the painted area in the face of pressure.
And so it's a close game as we wrap up the first half of basketball. Nets lead by 3. We'll see you back here after the break for third quarter basketball.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. Ernie Johnson here, along with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. Time to check out the first half of action. Brooklyn found themselves in a close game in the first. At the end of the period, they held a 4-point lead. They didn't stop fighting in the second quarter as they maintained most of their first quarter lead and now lead by 3 at the break. And from what we saw so far from the Nets, Kenny, what's your takeaway?
Well, I think they're feeling the energy of this hometown crowd. Sometimes you get a little complacent and comfortable in your surroundings, but no, they fed off adrenaline in the first half.
How about you, Shaq? What did you think about Chicago?
Well, they had a hard time scoring inside. In fact, their offense was run almost exclusively along the perimeter. A lot of jumpers. It's too predictable. You got to mix it up.
And that will conclude our halftime presentation. We take you back to Kevin Harlan for the second half.
The Brooklyn Museum, just one of the many places to visit here in this famous borough of New York City. Welcome back, folks. Well, both sides have assessed what they need to do over the break in halftime. We'll see now if one can pull out away here in the third. And there are so many amazing players in the league right now, Smitty, when you look at some of the guys who came in since you retired. Who would you like to have played with or played against?
I think with, it would have been a treat to play alongside LeBron James.
Yeah.
I think against, I think right now I'd love to see playing up against a guy like Giannis and Kristaps Porzingis, just the different ways these guys affect the game at their size. There's so many guys, and would love to get a chance to just be in front and marvel watching Steph Curry go through what he's doing, and a Kyrie Irving.
Right.
There's so many guys, Kevin. I just wouldn't want to guard those guys. I'm going to just say play with all those guys, not against.
Russell and LeVert in the backcourt. Mozgov is out there with Hollis Jefferson, and it's Carroll in at the small forward. That's the group starting the second half for Kenny Atkinson. Here's Hollis Jefferson. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. Lopez a screen. Grant dishes to Holiday. And it's Chicago scoring again.
And they're passing the ball very crisply here.
The Nets with the lead. Russell passes to Hollis Jefferson. Outside Russell to the middle. Howard down after the assist. Let him into the lane.
And the precision passing of Russell, this time out of the pick and roll.
Lopez, a screen on Russell. To the left wing. The shot by Markkanen. Nobody around. A three-pointer, no good. Nets leading by 4. 6-second difference between shot and game clock. Picked by Mozgov. Russell kicks to Mozgov. Feeds it to Carroll. Just 5 on the clock. There's Hollis Jefferson. And the rebound goes to Lopez. Pass to Grant. And a miss there on the triple. The third quarter comes to a close. Nets out in front, up by 4. And when we return, we'll get the fourth quarter rolling right here on 2K Sports. All right, we welcome you back to what's been a hard-fought battle. Fourth quarter should be good. Bulls trail by 4. So the Bulls 5 right now. Valentine out there with Dunn. Then there's Quincy Pondexter, and it's Portis in at the 4. Pondexter dishes to Valentine. 6 to shoot. From deep three-point range. Doesn't go for it. And Brooklyn will come the other way. Grab with the ball. Now guarded by Valentine. And stolen by Valentine. In transition, here come the Bulls. And it's Dunn in the corner. They set the pick. Portis, the pass to Felicio. Bulls moving the ball around. Takes it from 10. It's good, and the Brooklyn lead is cut down now to just 2 on the basket from Dunn.
Just grown man work from Dunn inside. His incredible athleticism really helping get him these types of shots.
Now here's Cran. Off the pick. It's rebounded by Portis.
Boy, he loves that mid-range jumper. Just fails to create enough room to operate.
Dish now to Valentine. And it's out of bounds. Last touch by Booker.
And how about the reaction time on D there? Almost comes up with the pick.
You know, these are the little plays that can add up when you look over the course of a game.
So both teams changing it up here. Time called here. The Bulls decide to talk it over. They're behind by 2. There's 39 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Guys, what do you think?
And usually you want to go for the 2-for-1 here to maximize the clock.
The presentation of our Jordan Player of the Game, Timothy Mozgov.
And his percentage from the field tonight seemed almost made up. I didn't think it was possible to have that kind of success shooting the basketball. You need a little bit of luck, a bunch of hard work, and a whole lot of talent.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with David Aldridge.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. Fred Hoiberg was talking with his team during the break. He said we've got to pick it up right here, right now. If we're going to win this game, we have to take control. This is the time.
And just showing great vision there. Russell surveys the floor and whips it to the open man.
Chicago calls timeout. They're behind by 5. There's 25 seconds left in the fourth. There's 25 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Lopez a screen. Outside Holiday. And again, no good by Chicago. And an intentional foul right there. "12 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. And so they foul intentionally. He hits the first one, and that increases their lead to 6.
Yeah, and with this increased aggressiveness offensively, Russell shooting more and more free throws.
Second one is good, hitting both at the line, and it's a 7-point game.
Every little bit helps. Outstanding work hitting those free throws.
And out of bounds as the Nets gain possession.
Poor timing on that play causes the turnover.
Six seconds left to play here in the fourth. So it's the Nets picking up the win. It was up for grabs right until the final seconds.
Yeah, and for me, Kevin, what stood out is just the overall trust this group has in one another when it matters most. Doing what had to be done and to send these fans home happy.
And that'll wrap it up, folks. For Steve Smith, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for being with us. We'll see you later.